Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. And I'm not in the woods today. I'm in this lovely space, just enjoying the peace and quiet, see what's coming through. And it's a busy time. We are in the window of the Lion's Gate. And I've been watching very carefully people's responses and kind of reactions to what's going on in the world at the moment. And so I'm going every now and then, every so often, with these updates I've been doing for 4 years now, or over 4 years. It comes round in sort of cycles due to the way that things are presented to us. And this particular talk this morning is going to be about everyone's favourite subject of distraction. Okay, so distraction. What is distraction? Distraction could be me seeing a pretty songbird outside the window, kind of floating off into my own world and not focusing on what I'm supposed to be talking about. Or distraction could be me setting out to do something, setting my intention to achieve a goal, be it a big goal or be it a small goal, could be anything, and then deciding that I was going to do something else. That kind of blends, that kind of like walks the fine line between procrastination and distraction, but ultimately I would be distracting myself from my target. And the other level of distraction is the kind of distraction that we are very much privy to on a daily basis, where we as an evolving community of torch bearers, light bearers on this planet, earth warriors, healers, ascension aspirants, whatever category that our human minds put ourselves into, we are on a mission and a pathway to retain our frequency, to retain our vibration, to align our bodies with the highest version of ourselves that is available at any particular moment in time. And we have been swimming against the water, the current of the water, a bit like salmon, for quite a while now, as the world, or the matrix that we left previously, has begun a dedicated, very costly, both energetic and financially, mission to keep us from achieving that vibration for any length of time. So I know I've spoken about this previously. When we entered the period at the beginning of 2020, when I was told and released the information that huge changes were going to occur around the world, we were presented with one thing, and it was an overwhelming thing. It was a thing that happened in its own way in every single country, but the theme was there was an immediate level of understanding or lack of understanding. And if you transform the physicalities into energetics, you have the clear division of fear or love. So an incident that would occur in our worlds around us have very specific effects. I've called it the clown show, the distraction party, the carnival of 3D. You know, you're getting on with your life, and all of a sudden 5 clowns appear juggling balls, you know, all the rest of it, and you're out of kilter. You're right. Okay, I can barely think because they're making so much noise. I'm going to have to look at the clowns for a bit. That is very much a kind of a very flippant way of describing the events that are occurring in our lives as we go through this ascension process. So how do we focus, keep our eye on the ball, keep our vibrations high, our attention and intention pristine, while there are so many circus acts going on all around us all the time? Now, the difference between now and 2020 is that we had one thing that was overwhelmingly passing through every country in its own form. It had its own laws, its own ways of dealing with things, and its own level of what we would now regard quite commonly as deep misinformation. But the difference is now there is, instead of one big one, we have 20 little ones, and each of those 20 little ones they mean something to somebody. There is somebody directly being affected by each of those incidents on a very physical level. And that energy at this moment is building and growing. And you will all know, or you will be living somewhere on this world where in any country, in any part of the world, where something will be occurring. It could be it could be an outrageous political happening. It could be an incident of violence. It could be conflict between nations or religions. It could be something that's occurring financially. Everything with the eyes of the third dimension is beginning to break down. It's beginning to collapse. It's beginning to devolve into the form which its energy existed in anyway, but the rose-tinted spectacles are off the populace. And the reason for this, as you've heard me probably speak about on many occasions, is that there are no more secrets in this world anymore. There's no more secrets in the energy that you receive from another person. There's no secrets in the things that you know are a driving force in your life, things that light you up, things that you love. And thereby, with the clarity of this vision, with the removal of the sixth veil of amnesia, there are no more secrets in the world of the third dimensional matrix. And due to the quantity of light, the clarity, the intensity with which this light is being shone on everything and everyone living on this world at the moment, those that remained kind of hidden and tucked away in the shadows, enabling an illusion to occur, have had to come out into the open. And this would be regarded as almost overconfidently blatant, to the point where people like you and I are saying, well, if they're this confident, if they're this blatant, how can they, they must know something that we don't. How can we possibly prevail the forces of good, of righteousness, of love, when this masquerade of intense density appears to be so out in the open that they do not have a care in the world? Okay, and every single one of you listening to this will know, you'll have a personal attachment to something that has occurred recently, or maybe a little bit further back along the timeline, that you might have thought, wow, is it like that now? Is it really that blatant? And I'm looking at this, I'm breaking this down this morning from a point of love, because it is essential, I feel, for us to be aware of the fact that we are going to be seeing things, we are going to be continuously presented with things until this devolving, this breaking down, this reformation, this waking up has run its course. It's done its progress. The planets are doing all of their wonderful things, their retrogrades, their forward movements, the light show in the sky, which, although it might feel like it it can be incredibly oppressive at times, where we feel like we're just receiving so much energy so regularly, so consistently, we can't possibly deal with any more. This is all for a divine purpose. It all happens for a reason. And like I've said so many times before, you'll never be able to restructure or recreate or you know, like say in the future we wanted to make a movie about our transition from 3D to 5D. Nobody would be able to accurately and fully ever emulate exactly what we're going through now. The only way we'll be able to do that is by watching it on the kind of the recording screen of the Akash and the halls of Amenti, where we will, once we've left the physical, be able to play back the aspects of our lives and bring ourselves into that moment. But I've got a feeling that the majority of us, once we're done with this particular period of time, we will have our own memories, we will have our own clarity on how all of that played out. So what I'm trying to get to this morning, today, as we enter this very powerful period of the Lion's Gate, is all of us collectively, excuse me, have a duty of care to ourselves and to the beings around us, our fellow citizens of the earth, to be as resolute, as steadfast as we possibly can to retain our light without distraction. But I like speaking from a human perspective. I like there's so many times where people can stand upon their pedestal and go, well, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you achieve your ever effervescent vibration. You retain your light at the times. You have like, you know, abundance pouring in. It's the will of the universe, but we have to be human first. At the end of the day, we've got to get through what we're moving through at the moment on a human level, boots on the ground, feeling our emotions, dealing with what comes up for us, you know, living our lives from a heart-centered perspective in the best way that we possibly can, and allowing ourselves a little bit of slip room, you know, when we do get distracted. Remember that you're human, okay? If you have been pulled into something recently that has maybe drained your energy, it's made you feel angry, it's made you kind of like cry out to the cosmos, like, you know, why are we going through something that's so blatantly difficult and unfair? Why is all this kind of maybe cruelty happening on the planet? It is a human condition. It is human of you to feel like this. It's human of you to feel tired. It's human if you want to disconnect from it all, to take a break, to step back, to find out who you really are. And so this is what the theme of August will be. This will be what the Lion's Gate, as in its open, roaring, leonine glory, will be teaching us, is to step back, to analyse from an angelic perspective, if it's available to us at that time, what is truly going on this world, what is happening to us, because it's all part of a divine plan. You are that divine plan. I am that divine plan. Everybody on this world serving, whether they are conscious, unconscious, awake, unawake, is all part of the divine plan. What we do need to be able to do is to navigate this divine plan, knowing or trusting from the centre of our hearts that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be more than all right on the other end of it. But we, for the time being, need to see through what is occurring. There are several major things that have occurred where I live in the UK, incidents that are beginning to inflame towns, populations. And if you look at the energy structure behind it, if you look at what's happening, it is again the divide and conquer. You get people angry. You get them on the streets, outraged, roaring. We want, we want our power back. We want our country back. And this is occurring in its own form everywhere. And the idea is to keep people in survival mode. It's to keep people angry, outraged at the establishment, taking action from a point of anger rather than from a point of love. And this is the point at which waves and waves of people begin to wake up, because whereas the Matrix has become so blatant in its show, it's also overlooking the fact that these actions simply just wake more people up. So again, we're going through another very powerful process at this moment in time, where thousands, moving into the amounts of people in their millions, will be witnessing something with new clarity, the clarity of the removal of the sixth veil of amnesia, and those incidents will serve to wake them up. So everything that we're seeing, everything that we're experiencing at the moment, serves a higher purpose, although it may look and feel incredibly negative. You might be living close to something that's occurring. It might be affecting you directly, might even be affecting how you live your everyday life. These waves of energy that are coming through, that are creating the plan that's being, there's two plans running alongside each other. There's the third dimensional plan, there's the fifth dimensional plan. Who do you think is going to win at the end of the day? Which race to the energy finish line do you think, who's going to come out on top? Do you think it's going to be a group of souls that think that they can lock down planet Earth by using money, control and power? Or do you think it's going to be a pre-planned cosmic event that has been designated by the higher realms and all of the incredibly mighty beings of light that are now deciding to focus all of their attention on this world? It's very easy to be kind of sucked into the imprisoned mentality, when in actual fact we are just literally beginning to learn how to fly free. So during this period of time, during this wonderful Lion's Gate, if you need to step back, pull the plug and just be, to receive the energies. One thing that I would highly recommend at the moment is to have a media diet. Okay, anything that's coming in that's been written or it's been recorded by an organization or a company to give you information is probably false. Okay, unless you are getting it from a very reliable source that you know and trust, that's unbiased, it's unfiltered, its roots are in a high frequency. The majority of what you will be receiving will be false, it will be misleading, it will be designed to inflame and to create that division within you. And at this point in time, we're now making the decisions for ourselves, being human, being here on Earth, but also being incredibly powerful, incredibly well trained, resilient, higher beings of light that have all incarnated into one place for a extremely magical cosmic event. That's where we are. So the Lion's Gate is here to teach us this year, and it's also here to enact and bring in foundational energies that will be physically in place for the coming year, as we are aligning with the galactic core, as all of these frequencies are coming in. There is going to be a wave of energy going out on the 8th of the 8th that is going to again be a complete game changer. But in order to receive that in the way for which it is intended, we have to be in the right frequency and in the right state of mind. Otherwise, it's going to blast through everybody's bodies and fields and leave everybody feeling a little bit messy. So give yourself the space and the time that you need to receive. Go outside, sit on some grass, look at the sun, the stars, receive the energies coming in, drink cocoa with a friend, do some yoga, go for a run, do whatever you need to do to keep your energies high, bright, pure and clear. And remember what it is that you wish to achieve, not what it is that is disturbing your peace, knocking you out of kilter, stepping over your boundaries. This is something that we have to work at again and again. So, my loves, that concludes my Friday morning chit chat. I'm off to Emsworth tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody who's coming along to the workshop. And yeah, it's going to be a live presentation, and of course we're working with Lionsgate energies. And then I will be back on the 8th of the 8th celebrating the Lionsgate with my good friend David Essery, and we're going to have a right show that night. So if you're joining us, bring your Ascension socks and get ready to dive in. Sending you all love from my heart to yours. Bye for now.